I'm taking I'm taking Heather on her first cat transport.
Up to Nashua.
We're not going empty-handed.
That's what she's like. She's like, you don't want me to go
The
empty-handed.
framing, is that sort of what you were? You want a tighter shot in there?
Maybe a little tighter.
Sure.
Oh, my nails are horrible. Tell me you can't. I went foraging on
I
Sunday.
know, that was so cool.
So cool.
And you ate the stuff?
Is that better? You
I
want?
brought it home.
I ate some of it.
Cat over, or is that distracting?
My sister ran into
Hmm,
a high
she wanted-
school friend, and all she talks
Can-
about is
Oh, sorry.
She
Did I
has
move it? She is what?
no canned goods. Everything that they cook comes out of
Do you like
baskets,
that?
like roots
Yeah.
and
Okay. Well,
they live in Shenandoah Valley, like up in the woods, up in the hill.
Right.
No electricity.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
They're no longer citizens of the United States. They live up in the hill. She's got 7 kids.
Oh my goodness.
Pretty good, right?
So my first
He's
question.
really stalking her. The cat. Maybe
Nah.
push him back a little bit now.
My first question I was gonna add on to this is just what is a Zephyr? Because I figured
Okay.
that'll be a good like
Sure.
custom
Yep.
foot transport vehicle.
Just push that cat back for and just see how that is, because it just seems like the cat is
Over
bigger than her.
Oh, that's good.
that's
A
more
little
right.
small.
scale.
Yeah. Mac.
Mac has been all over.
Mac was on the inaugural ride.
That's right. You're
Mac-
on airplane.
Mac had his own seat at the
airplane.
airplane.
People thought we were crazy.
Well, you are.
A
But
little bit.
it's all kind of crazy around here. Okay.
All right. Whenever you're ready, I'm rolling.
Okay.
So what is the Zephyr?
The Zephyr is a 26-foot custom vehicle made specifically with animal welfare in mind. It has built-in cages, supplemental heating, air conditioning, cleanable surfaces, even a built-in central vacuum, hot water heater, and just so many features that provide for comfortable and I goofed. All right, gotta do it again. The Zephyr is a customized 26-foot animal transport vehicle. It's built with cages that are easy to clean. They're built in. There's supplemental heating, air conditioning, all sorts of features like hot water for cleaning, a central vacuum, so that we can, in the best way possible, transport animals from where they face crises or from overcrowded areas and get them to where there's opportunity for a great outcome.
Okay. The Zephyr is a vital part of a life-saving transport program here at St. Hubert's. How long have you been wanting a custom transport vehicle, and why is it so important to our mission?
We have wanted to have a better way of transporting animals from overcrowded areas or crisis to St. Hubert's for years. We were using our box vans, and we certainly were doing wonderful life-saving with the box vans, but not only in capacity, but also in well-being. They did not meet the need that we had, especially when these animals come from crisis. They're stressed out. Stressed animals or sick animals. We needed to be able to transport them in a way that supported their well-being, and also a way that, you know, made sure that if there were any diseases or illnesses from where they came from, hoarding situations or other cruelty, that the environment then would support us being able to clean and disinfect and make sure that, you know, the next transport of animals would arrive at St. Hubert safely. All right, so that's how long we wanted one. Next one is how it serves our mission.
Right. Why is it so important to our mission?
The Zephyr is so important to our mission at St. Hubert's because we really view ourselves as a regional and beyond force for animal welfare, and this vehicle enables us to not only welcome animals or get them where they need to go for opportunity, but it's part of our general outreach work with these other organizations where we provide a hands up to areas that are struggling, to shelters that are struggling, not only helping out the animals from those programs, but helping those programs so that hopefully we're able all together to be able to move to another community that needs our help.
The Zephyr not only works as a transport vehicle, explain some of the other ways it can serve animals in the community.
The Zephyr is also out and about in communities throughout New Jersey doing adoption events. So we're able to load up animals from our shelters and get out in the community where people work, live, and play, and give these animals every opportunity to meet their new home in a beautiful way. We don't have to haul cages and crates and ask volunteers to load up their cars. The animals are able to stay here in the Zephyr. It's got a beautiful walkway. The public can enter from one end and walk out the other end. I'm actually sitting right now at the adoption desk in the Zephyr, where people can sit down and go through the paperwork and understand what vaccines the animals have had and go through the adoption agreement. And it enables us to do adoptions out in the community, and it also enables us to go out to areas of crisis. The Zephyr this year went down to the flooding that was down in South Carolina, and there were shelters from all over the country there. I know that I got a picture from some of our staff on scene of the Zephyr parked to a vehicle kind of like the Zephyr that was from a shelter in Arkansas that had come over to pick up animals to help out South Carolina as well. So we can deploy this vehicle out to help animals, help communities, transport animals, and also help these animals find a new home by adoption events.
Did you want to mention the vaccine clinics or not?
Yeah, I should mention that. Another way that the Zephyr is out and about in the community is that we're going out to targeted areas of need, underserved communities, and we are providing vaccine clinic days. And we're able to talk with people about spaying and neutering their pets. We're able even sometimes to just give folks a better collar and leash and behavioral advice for their animals. The pets show up sometimes on clothesline rope or belts because people don't have leashes, we want to get out where we're needed and help people where they are. If they're not able to, certainly to come to us for help.
Now for the most important question, why is the vehicle named the Zephyr, and who was
Most
that?
important. The Zephyr means the wind, and so that was already would have been a beautiful name. The name and the meaning go deeper for us at St. Hubert's. The Zephyr was the first dog that we welcomed from one of our South Jersey partners, the Cumberland County SPCA, and he really became a celebrity in his own right at St. Hubert's. He was on the Chia Pet website, and he won fashion contests, and I just can't tell you how much the staff and volunteers and everyone adored him. And he was with us for a while, and so we thought when this vehicle came about and how he came to us in the spirit of reaching out, helping animals like Zephyr, who was found as a stray wandering in a field that no one was ever looking for. He was older. We're always happy to welcome animals at St. Hubert's who are older or need other special care, like Elvis here tonight, and who is also from the Cumberland County SPCA. So it's a very meaningful name for all of us, and it also means the wind, so it's beautiful in that way too.
Last year, we started a new partnership with shelters in New England, starting with Deakin Humane Society in Massachusetts. Can you explain how this partnership came about and how it is helping to save the lives of New Jersey cats?
In 2015, we began a transport program, actually transporting felines up to New England, much as we have been able to help canines from other states, because we've made so much progress in New Jersey in canine overpopulation that we're able to help other areas. They've made that progress in New England in many areas with cats. And it's a wonderful signal of the progress that we're making in animal welfare. And we wanted to be the vehicle by which as many cats from New Jersey were able to achieve on that life-saving opportunity. So we go all over the state of New Jersey We pick up animals, cats, we pick up animals, dogs, cats, birds, bunnies, chinchillas, you name it, from everywhere. But this effort with felines to get them up to New England, we pick up all over from New Jersey, crowded shelters. We bring the animals to St. Hubert's. We meet all of the transport requests of the destination shelters, which are certainly, the animals are healthy, they have their vaccines. We are often doing the spay and neuter surgeries before they go. And then we're making sure that this pipeline moves as many animals that need the opportunity as possible. So this happened just in 2015, and St. Hubert's is really blazing the way of how to do feline transport well. And we've been asked to really document our procedures to help share that information with the whole field of animal welfare.
And can you explain to us how we fund the life-saving transports on the Zephyr?
We simply could not do this work without the support of people who care, who don't, let me start again. We simply could not do this work without the support of people who care, people who want us to go out there, help these animals from overcrowded shelters, from crisis situations, get them either to St. Hubert's or get these animals up to life-saving opportunities in New England. We have sponsorship opportunities for the Zephyr so that people can sponsor trips and know that they were a part of bringing sometimes 20, 40, 60, 70 or more have been on this vehicle at any one time, and bring them to that opportunity.
Okay, so the Zephyr is obviously more than just a vehicle. Describe what the Zephyr means to you and to our St. Hubert's community.
When I'm asked what the Zephyr means to me, the Zephyr means to me incredible life-saving of deserving animals, and it means it's a signal of the way in which St. Hubert's reaches out. We do it in the best possible way. We just don't take animals from an overcrowded shelter and leave that shelter behind in a situation without additional support. That we provide funding back to the source communities from adoptions through our program to help them fund low-cost spay-neuter in their community. We help them with professional education, enrichment items. We lend any expertise or hands up that we can to our partners. It's a meaningful partnership for us, and we take it very seriously, and this vehicle to me is a real testament and sign of the seriousness and heart that we put into this program. And I certainly believe that the way I feel about it is the way that our staff and volunteers and supporters feel about this program, and it's really our entire community that comes together to make this happen.
And the last question, if you had to describe the Zephyr and our transport program in just a few words, what would they be?
If I had to sum up the transport program in just a few words, it's awesome. It's exciting. It's our chance to really reach far, help these animals, get them out into adoption opportunities, life-saving opportunities, build our partnerships with other shelters, go down to areas of crisis like flooding, tornadoes, hurricanes, man-made situations like hoarding, puppy mills, and other large-scale cruelty cases, and show up on scene in a vehicle that can house animals. Our staff can even blow up air mattresses and sleep in the walkway, and we can show up and lend a hand for animals that need us. So this takes us on the road in a whole new way, and it's exciting.
Great.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Right.
Becky's hair looks perfect as always.
Oh. Whenever you're ready.
Good?
Yep.
Okay. So you
Okay.
make the journey to pick up the Zephyr. Where was the Zephyr built and how did it feel to see him for the first time?
The Zephyr was built in Gahanna, Ohio. Kim and I flew out there, and the minute we walked into the warehouse, I think both of us were in tears. It was, first of all, so great to see Zephyr life-size, and then just to see all the features on the vehicle, the amount of animals that the vehicle could hold. We just couldn't wait to pull it out of the shop, load the dogs that met us there, and get back home.
Yes. On the Zephyr's first journey home, we picked up a special group of dogs. So who were they? And talk about that.
So the idea was to fly out to Gahanna, Ohio and pick the Zephyr up, but how could we possibly come home with all the cages empty? So our friends at Humane Society of Parkersburg agreed to meet us there with 10 very special dogs that they had. And Kim and I made the first maiden run with 10 dogs. They slept the whole time. They had nice big comfy beds. They had the music going. At one point, I actually had to get up and go check on everybody because they were just so peaceful.
And how long was that first journey home and how did it feel driving up to the shelter for the first time?
When we first left the warehouse in Gahanna with the dogs, the first half an hour felt like 10 hours because we were driving this 26-foot vehicle with animals on board. And then about a half an hour after we took off, it was just the best feeling in the world, and we were wondering why we didn't get more dogs on the vehicle. And the drive was about 8 hours. Kim and I switched on and off. No, we didn't. Who am I kidding? Okay, wrong trip. Okay, what was the question again?
How long was the journey home and how did it feel driving up to the shelter for the first time?
Okay, so we left Gahanna, Ohio. The trip was about 8 hours. We got on the road. The first half an hour was kind of white-knuckled, driving this big 26-foot vehicle filled with animals. And then after about a half an hour, it seemed like we, have been driving this vehicle a lifetime. At one point, we actually had to stop and get up to check on the animals because they were so comfortable in their blankets with the music going. And everybody was just perfect on the trip. Pulling up to the shelter, we had a great big banner, welcoming committee. It was the best day ever.
Okay, so the Zephyr makes routine trips to shelters across New Jersey and beyond. Can you name some of the shelters who benefit from our transport program?
There's so many shelters that benefit from our transport program. Some of our most favorite partners down in South Jersey are Cumberland SPCA, Atlantic County. Can I start over? Because it's Atlantic County SPCA, I should say. Okay. Some of the shelters that benefit from our program are our most favorite partners are Cumberland County SPCA, Atlantic County SPCA, Camden County. The Zephyr has been in so many shelters in New Jersey, in and out. We quite often go to Associated Humane in Newark. We could not possibly fit 50 cats on board one of our old vans, and the Zephyr, we can load up the Zephyr 75, 100 cats at one time.
Do you want to talk about your trip down to South Carolina after the hurricane?
Sure.
You brought back 21.
That was our first long trip, right? Or were we in New England before? We went to New England before then.
I feel like
So maybe one of our first natural disaster responses was? Okay. So one of our first natural disaster response in the Zephyr was after the flooding in South Carolina. We brought back 21 dogs down from South Carolina. We drove down one day, stayed overnight, loaded the dogs up the next morning and headed right back to St. Hubert's and had a great welcoming committee when we arrived.
Okay. As a regular on these transports, how does it feel each time you go to one of our partner shelters and are able to help them with overcrowding?
I kind of wanted to skip this question. No, just because it's so.
Cry. It's important that you cry.
Okay.
To make me cry.
Tears are important.
I need that emotion.
See? She's good though. She got a lot more emotion than me.
Well, I go. That's why. So, So I'm one of the regulars on the transports, especially when we go down to South Jersey in our overcrowded shelters, and we walk in and see our friends that work just as hard as everybody else. They work 12-hour days trying to find homes for these cats and dogs where there's simply no room for them down there. And when we walk out with 77 cats, or when we clear their whole cat room, there's tears in their eyes, there's tears in our eyes. It's just a tremendous life-saving. The numbers of animals that we can move in this Zephyr are just incredible. In our old vans, we would never be able to move 77 animals in one trip. So I think we can probably get more than 77 in there. But it means the world to them, and we are all in this for the same reason, so we try to lend each other a hand when we can. And then our partners up in New England just adore and love the cats as much as we do. So it's just a great program all the way around, and it gives a boost to those of us that are in the situation of overcrowding and still work very, very hard.
That was
Perfect.
Can we end on that? Like, that's like the ending right there.
Tears.
Awesome. Great.
Okay. So how does the staff react to the Zephyr each time he rolls in on the school van?
Every time we come back from a trip down in South Jersey loaded with kitties, the whole entire staff knows that that means that everybody has to work double time, work twice as hard, get the medical done, the vaccines, the collars, the tags, because those cats are going to be heading up to New England probably in 7 to 10 days. So it just recharges everybody. It gives everybody a purpose to get to work on time and work extra hard and be nice to each other, because we are all working to move these cats to an area where people are waiting to adopt them.
Well, can you just mention dogs too, when dogs come off the Zephyr?
Maybe. I can't call it shopping for dogs.
We could say something like when we pull up with dogs from one of our partners, and the staff come out like it's
Like
Christmas.
who's on board? Okay.
Like, what did we get? What did
Right.
we get? And they're so excited for these dogs to come to the program. They can't wait to unload them and get them tucked in, and get them their dinners and their shots, and make them get started on
Okay.
their path to adoption through St. Hubert's, something like that.
When we pull in with the Zephyr after going down on a trip to pull animals, the staff is waiting, leashes in hand. They can't wait to see what's on board. It's like Christmas for them. Sometimes they, get pushy and shovey of, I'm getting the next dog off board. And then there's always a staff member inside making them a nice hot meal. Somebody goes around and makes sure everybody's tucked in for the night, make sure all their needs are met, and just very, very excited to get them onto their new home. That wasn't good.
A hot meal. I don't know that we're giving them a hot meal, are we?
We put hot water in the dog
Oh
food.
my
We
God,
mix
that's so
warm
sweet.
water.
Okay,
Warm water
sorry.
in the
Sorry,
bucket.
okay, they
Gotta
got
be
hot
warm. Gotta be warm.
Okay.
When we arrive back from our sister shelters down in South Jersey with dogs on board, the staff is waiting at the door with leashes in hand. They cannot wait to see who's on board or who is selected to come up to St. Hubert's. There's a staff member inside preparing their hot meal. There's somebody else tucking them in. Some staff leave little cookies under the covers so the dogs can uncover them during the night. The next morning we start on their physical exams and getting them spayed and neutered and vaccinated and right up for adoption.
Great. My next question was, how much time and effort does it take by our staff and volunteers to get the cats ready for transport up to New England?
So once we pull a transport full of cats from our sister shelters or overcrowded shelters, it is full speed ahead. We do everything. We do vaccines, microchipping, spay, neuter, clean their ears, do their nails. It is such a tremendous effort. Everybody works together. It's a strain on our resources. I don't know how to, can you tell me how to answer that again? Strain on the resources, blah, blah, blah,
It puts,
blah,
it puts
blah.
a great strain on our resources because it takes a lot of time I guess time, like a lot of supplies and a lot of time to get the animals, you know, their vaccines and the care that they need to meet the. Well, are we talking about cats? Or are we talking about
This is the cats up to
the cat one? The cats too, right? So there are, you know,
Protocol,
protocols,
USDA
protocols.
requirements, or
Yeah, there's transport, you know, guidelines in different states as well as different shelters, and we have to
Right.
meet all of that.
Right.
And it's a lot of supplies and a lot of staff time doing all the exams, spay, neuter, vaccines, other treatments to get these animals where they need to be.
okay.
Like that.
So the question was,
I think I want to do my funding plan.
it does take a lot of time and effort to prepare these cats to head up to our New England partners. Once the cats arrive from our sister shelters in South Jersey, the staff is full speed ahead. We have tremendous time vaccinating, getting these cats ready for the rigorous requirements that each state in New England has to accept the animals into their state. So the spaying and neutering, the microchipping, the vaccines, the nails, the ears, the feeding is very, very much a strain on our resources and staff time. We always get it done and are happy to do it. And we just love the feline pipeline program. Feline pipe, we just named that today, Kim, feline pipeline.
Is that good?
That is good. Okay, so the last two questions. So the Zephyr is more than just a vehicle. Describe what the Zephyr means to you and to the St. Hubert's community.
So I've been at St. Hubert's for over 20 years and have been driving the cargo vans with animals in them for that amount of time. And having the Zephyr is totally awesome. We can move so many more animals at one time from point A to point B. We can respond to natural disasters. We offer assistance for large-scale hoarding cases in our surrounding towns that just have the animal control vehicles. If a house needs to be cleared out, we are there with the Zephyr and can take on the amount of animals. So me personally, I've waited a whole long time for the Zephyr and just get excited every time he's ready to go on the road, and I hope that I can go on him. That was horrible. Can you just cut like that last sentence? Right? If you just cut that last sentence, is there somewhere else I ended?
Maybe just start with that. I get so excited every time I see the Zephyr.
Yeah.
And
I get so excited every time we're gonna go on a trip.
Okay. I get so excited every time the Zephyr is booked on a trip, whether it's long distance or just in South Jersey or a hoarding case or a natural disaster. It's just so exciting every time this vehicle is being used, because it's always being used for life-saving, and that's the best thing about the Zephyr.
Nice. And the last one, describe the Zephyr and our transport program in just a few words.
Didn't I just do that?
Just like simple and like
Do what Kim says.
there's a vision in here.
If I had to just
creative, but there's a vision in here.
Okay. If I had to describe the Zephyr in one word, I would say the Zephyr is totally awesome. The biggest life-saving vehicle that St. Hubert's has had in my lifetime. It's just so exciting and can handle any natural disaster, man-made disaster, any kind of transport that we need to take him on. I know the Zephyr will do well.
Did I have to do tears?
Awesome. No, you
I need your mic. I'm gonna do the funding one again. The document. All right, hold on. So you just have to ask me the question, okay, so that I say it. Oh, yeah, I'm not gonna put it because I want to match to last time. I want to look the same. Okay. Okay.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay, so how do we fund the life-saving transports on the Zephyr, and how can donors get involved?
We simply could not roll this Zephyr out of the parking lot on these life-saving missions without the support of people who care. And we have sponsorship opportunities. That's how we're going out and doing all of this work. People can donate and sponsor an entire transport and know that they've saved 20, 40, 70 or more animals. They can even participate in the ride. Sometimes we know the Zephyr is going to be going out to help an overcrowded shelter, and some of the donors have come on the trip, and I've talked to them, I've called them up to see how it went, and it was just such a moving experience, with tears. And we also have a great way to recognize people who want to sponsor one of the trips on the back of the vehicle. So if you want to do it for somebody's birthday, their wedding present, any way of honoring someone or in memory of someone's pet who's passed, what a beautiful gift to give a life-saving trip for, again, 20, 40, 70 or more animals. And we take a picture of that. We put it on social media. We can share it with the sponsor. So it's such a beautiful opportunity to make a very direct life-saving impact for animals and also be a part of it. So we hope that people will be in touch and become involved in this amazing program.
Great.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Good.
Did everything.
The Zephyr is truly a specialized vehicle built by a company that builds ambulances and fire trucks and those sorts of life-saving vehicles for humans. And this is made specifically for animals. It's got built-in solid surface cages. They can be readily cleaned and disinfected. The cages many of them can be broken up so that they can be one large cage if we have larger dogs, and then there are dividers that are very safely and securely stowed that we can make the cages into two if it's smaller dogs or puppies, cats. We have a lot of storage here, which, you always need storage with animal care, but we also have a lot of comfort and care supplies on board to make sure that the ride is, we can care for the animals and we can also make them comfortable. The vehicle is really well insulated, so it's very quiet for the ride, which reduces stress. In our vans, it used to be very rattly and noisy with all of the caging that's mobile. With everything being built in, secured, safely stowed, it's a wonderful quiet ride. And so not only doesn't it have the negative noise, thanks to a built-in speaker system, we're able to provide comfort noise, so classical music, calming music for the animals. There's a sink, a hot water heater, a refrigerator, which is wonderful if we need to transport medications that need to be refrigerated. There's a generator. Oftentimes when you roll up on a natural disaster, the power is out. And so we have a generator here so we can run the supplemental air, heating, run the hot water heater, and take care of these animals. It's got an awning if we're doing an off-site adoption event, so people can come right up to the windows. It also keeps the direct sunlight off the animals. If we are rolling up at an adoption event and it's an evening event, there's even LED lights above every animal enclosure so that these animals can be seen by people. I think we all know that, there's a feeling that animals that are, not white or certain colors, that they can get passed by, and so all of the animals stand out. The vehicle has a desk where we can do paperwork with adopters, or where we can do intake paperwork if we're picking up 70 animals from a shelter. That's a lot of medical records, and we are very careful in our record keeping of animals, and everyone has their own computer record with their medical information, their background information, and that way we're able to give all of that to a new adopter as well. There's a bathroom for the humans as well. We do use that mostly for stowing items for the animals, but again, if you roll up on a natural disaster, a lot of times you're sleeping in a high school gym if you're deployed. So our staff are, able to even stay in the Zephyr with a blow-up air mattress and be in here with animals that we're caring for, which is just wonderful. And it has even more features. They're almost too long to list, but it really is a customized vehicle specifically designed with animal welfare in mind, and we are just so thrilled to have it.
Amen.
Sing it. Good. That doesn't fit. Oh, good. Maybe this is not the right size one. But that would be all fit. Did that look okay? At least it showed you.
Yeah, no,
higher.
that's-
Okay. Really hard to do. Whatever, you can make it look good, right?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't have to lock in the video, you're just...
Just showing it. After 5 minutes of fumbling. Where should I
Sun's not great, but I guess we'll deal with it.
Alright, should I go?
Yeah, you might as well go.